Anything new, Chris, from the last meeting? Anything fitness-wise? Getting back on a regimen or anything?
Yeah, so, I had that thing cut off the back of my head, like goiter, so I don't look like Gorbachev anymore. And today was my first day I actually got to go back to the gym.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. Cut my staples. Well, my daughter cut my staples out. I was supposed to cut them out today, so.
Oh, okay.
A week and a half off and go at it.
Yeah.
It felt good to get back, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm going pretty strong. I'm about a month and a half in on a steady routine, and it's feeling better each day.
When's your show?
October 19th.
Okay. Is it in Kansas City or St. Louis?
It's St. Charles.
Okay.
You gonna come?
I might try.
Yeah. No, it'll be fun, man. I'm ready for it. I'm gonna actually, I actually am going to start documenting everything, like just time in the gym. I'm gonna do some like interviews with people, and I'm gonna create like a little mini documentary on the whole entire process. So I'm just gonna like create a whole bunch of content, save it up, and then try to hire someone to do like a post-production of all the videos together. I'll do infusions and the good times, the bad times, and I just think I could probably create a pretty cool video, of this journey.
Are you going to reach out to Patrick Lynch about that? You think Patrick has any interest in doing that?
I don't know. I don't have a relationship with him at all.
I don't either, but I know him first. I don't know anybody who could do pre-production like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen his work. I mean, his work is, top-notch stuff.
You might check to see if Drew Kuchera might be interested too. He's there in St. Louis with you.
Who is it?
Drew Kuchera.
Okay.
He's on my friend. You can hit him up.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm gonna start asking some connections that I have, trying to reach out to people and see if there's any interest in sponsorship for it. I really want to go all out with it because I don't know. I don't feel like I can compete my entire life, and I feel like this is kind of like the tail end of what I'm doing. And I just really want to document it all.
Yeah.
I think getting a like lifestyle gym or some community, that actually has in your local area would probably be a good start for sponsorship. Because I think that probably would obviously promote the brand, but also add a lot of value just for you within the local community.
Yeah, it's great. Who just joined? Did somebody just join?
Francis did.
Francis? Oh, cool. Great. Good to see you, Francis. I know there was a couple other people who said they wanted to join. Doesn't look like they're on yet. So what time is it? It's almost 10 after.
Yep.
Let's see. We got Chris, John. All right.
One of those is you. One of those Chris's is you to run the computer, I guess.
Yeah. I'm using your account to log on.
Use away. I need to get you an account. You need to have one of my accounts.
How you doing, Francis? All right, guys. Well, I'll go ahead and go through. Oh, I was looking at my battery. It says it's almost dead on my phone. Should be fine. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start the presentation. So, last time we met up, I started asking everyone what they wanted to talk about next. And motivation seemed to be like the number one thing that people wanted to talk about. And, I could have went a couple different ways with it. When I was thinking about creating this, I've been fortunate enough to be able to speak at different events and stuff in the hemophilia community and share my story. I spent a lot of time making like a really awesome PowerPoint of when I was a kid, all the things I went through. And then how I kind of, basically, set a goal to step on stage and kind of create a new platform with bodybuilding. And I decided to not go that route. I decided not to, inspire or motivate with my own story. I decided that I wanted to create a new presentation and maybe come up with some different practical ways and practical exercises that we could do together as a group, and see if we can kind of spark some motivation in our own lives that way. So I'll go ahead and, like I said, there is going to be some participation involved. If you don't want to, you can pass, or if you're not ready for it, we can pass to someone who is ready. I wrote down some of my stuff too, so I'll share my answers with you guys. But I just really want you guys to get thinking about these things, and who knows, it could spark something new in your life and get you back on the right track, get you out of the rut if you're in a rut right now. I know that I'm currently getting out of a rut. So I was, feeling depressed. My body wasn't where I wanted it to be. I was eating horribly, and I just wasn't liking myself anymore. And I wasn't liking the path that I was on. But I feel like that always happens to me. I feel like with hemophilia, I always go through this depression stage or season, and then somehow I have to figure out, how do I get out of it? And so I have a lot of experience of practical ways that I've used to try to get out of it. And I also did some research on some of the top performers in the world and ways that they stayed motivated and achieved their goals, even through the toughest times. So with that said, I'll go to the first slide right here. And so this is kind of an opening group discussion. And the first question that I want you guys to think about is this. If you had what you wanted in life and you were who you wanted to be, what would that look like? All right. And then after that question is, what area do you feel like you're currently lacking in, that if you were better, you could get closer to your goal? The third question is, what is one of your strengths that will help you along your journey to stay on track? And then the other one is, what could you do today to get better in the area you currently lack in? Whether it's, reading a new book, finding a mentor, maybe there's a tool that you're missing that if you had this tool, it would help you get back on track, or there could be a video or podcast that you can listen to. So let's think about the first question first. While you guys are thinking about your answer, I'll go ahead and answer what I wrote down for it. I had some time to prepare. I know you guys haven't, but I at least want to get the wheels spinning and you guys thinking about this. So for me, I put, I would be a professional athlete and a motivational speaker. That's something that I've always wanted to be when I was a kid. I've fantasized over that, being a professional athlete in some aspect or another. And having hemophilia, it took me on a crazy roller coaster ride of, you can't do this. It's just not in your cards to do this. But overall, if I could envision that perfect life, I would be a professional athlete, motivational speaker, getting an opportunity to talk to people who are struggling, people who have chronic disorders, and getting the opportunity to help them live a more fulfilling life. I would have a successful non-for-profit organization. I started Hemo Life, and that's just it's really nowhere right now, but it's definitely a vision that I had, and I started 3 years ago. And one day I'd like to have that non-for-profit up and going in the bleeding disorder community, and helping people develop new skills to live a fulfilling life. Because I didn't have any mentorship, I didn't have the education, I didn't know what to do, I didn't have the correct habits to be successful or to achieve the things I wanted to achieve in my life. And so as I got older, I eventually started to learn that I had to search those things out. I had to figure out those answers. I couldn't just be miserable. I had to figure out how to rebuild myself from the ground up by studying people, by creating new habits in my life. And on top of that, I'd want to be a happy family man who gets to spend quality time with his, with his kids. I want to be there for them. So anyone else who and want to answer that first question? What does it look like for you to live your perfect life? And,
Yeah.
You scared somebody away. You're getting existential right off, and you scared them right out of the room. I think that, my big thing back in the day was, always wanting to be that sports guy and that, that kind of, larger than life personality. And just like you, I was always told you can't really, that's not your path, use your brain. And And then I learned that brains are sexy too. So that was good. I have a family, which you can hear in the background. So I got that going for me. So that's good. That was always one of my goals. But yeah, I think one of the things is it's adjusting with the time to have a better understanding of where you want to be, but also understanding, hey, this is where I'm at, and that's okay, you know? And I would definitely challenge you to say Hemolife isn't nowhere, because we're here, we're loud, and we're proud, brother. So
yeah,
give yourself some credit, man, you know?
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I always have a tendency to buy one of your shirts when you release a new one. So
yeah, I want to get it going again, but you know, it's when you're doing everything. Yeah, for me, you know, like that goes for my number 2. You know, what area do you feel like you currently lack in that if you were better, you could get closer to your goal? And for me, that's like, you know, learning how to manage my finances. You know, being in a better financial position, I feel like, is one of my struggles. It helps me from being able to invest in my current growth. That seems to be what's stopping me right now. So that's something that I have to personally, that's like what I lack in, what I have to figure out. You know, how do I get on that path to where I can start funding the ideas and, you know, doing these things that you know, taking these things further. And just learning. And honestly, a lot of it could just be resources and connections, but I just don't know how to utilize that yet. But does anyone else want to answer question number 1? Chris?
Well, I was going to go to question number 2 because I don't know where life's going to take me. I've never really thought about it. You know, I definitely want to be an expert in something, but it's just like I still don't know what that looks like or where that is or where it's going to end up taking me. But you know, number 2, where I currently lack is my time management. You know, that's my biggest struggle. And I think if I got my time management under control, then I would be a lot more closer to my goals.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because I can prioritize and I can schedule and I can do all that, but you know, my prioritize and schedule, you know, I kind of hit the priorities first instead of calling one area, knocking out one area first.
You don't have aspirations or dreams of like you like own this like huge house, you got a boat, you're on a lake. Like you don't have like a vision that's just like, man, this is something that I have to see come to fruition before my life's over. Or what do you want to mean to people? Like when people think about you, what do you want to mean to those people? You know, like you don't think about that stuff ever?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I mean, it's definitely on my vision board on you know, like on material things, but never, you know, and I've always wanted to be an expert in something. You know, it used to be healthcare. You know, I wanted to be an expert in healthcare on some stage, you know, but.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think I can relate to that. I think that that's the same thing for me too, is I also want to be like, I want to feel like I have something to offer, you know, and like you said, being an expert in some area of life you know, I'm hoping.
I think you guys are both experts. I just think it's reframing what that means to you.
Yeah.
You know? I think that's what it is. I actually did some work back in the day in behavioral science on expertise. So anytime you want to talk about very dry topics like psychological research, we can do that anytime.
Hey, John, that'll be the web one you schedule.
Yeah, I'll get that one going.
When it's your turn.
The Science of Expertise by John Faria. That actually was one of the things I did back when I was in my undergrad. Being an expert, and just because I am an expert, I'm an IT expert. I do logistics and transportation technology. And my burden, it's just funny you guys kept mentioning that, so I'm going to talk about my burden, is I feel like that takes away from my wanting to contribute with the community. So you guys are saying, hey, I would love to crush something. A, you guys are crushing it. But B, that I feel like it's always taken me away. It's taken away from my family. It's taken away from the things that I want to do, which are some of the things you guys are doing, which is to get healthy, to be motivated, you know, to kick it up to the next level. So, you know, just like anything, everything's a balance. You know, you don't have to be, I just happened to fall into transportation technology when I was in my 20s, and it's just carried me to have a career. I get to fly all around, you know, I have projects in Europe, I have projects in South America. It is what it is. It's just a job, you know, at the end of, what does it mean to you though? And why that's important to me is because I'm helping the world, right? I talk about improving, you know, transportation, technology, logistics, et cetera, because I'm trying to help big problems, right? Break that off for you guys. You guys are trying to help big problems too. So don't think you're not an expert. But yeah, we're all of us are not where we want to be, right? That's probably why we're in today. So my big thing is, how do I get started? You know, my lacking is, I lost a bunch of weight when I was actually around when I started the transportation technology thing back in college. I got to a healthy weight, and then that expertise kind of has grabbed me away. Getting married has grabbed me away from those goals and those, that cycle. Having kids is like a just nuclear bomb to talking about time, right? Chris struggles with that too, I'm sure,
Oh yeah.
So how do I get started? What does getting started look like, and how do I follow through? I think that's my biggest lack.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, man. And I would say kids always, and Chris, you're going to experience this one day too, but I think kids are always going to, family time's going to always get in the way. The way I prioritize things is, like faith, family, finances, and fitness. That's the order I've always kind of prioritized in. And, and my fitness, I don't ever have a set time that I get to go to the gym or do whatever. Cause that's my fourth highest priority. So, sometimes I get to go at 5:30 in the morning. Sometimes I get to go at 9. Sometimes I get to go, at 11 o'clock at night. It just kind of depends. But if I take care of all 4 of those every day, then, that's kind of that's my mantra. That's my goal. Then it all works out.
Yeah. Awesome. So the other question is, what is one of your guys' strength? What are your strengths that will help you along your journey? And what could you do today to get better in that area that you currently lack in? And what I wrote down for my strength was kind of just like my tenacity, my ability to keep on getting back up every time I fall back down. There's just something inside of me that, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just like a chip on my shoulder that I grew up with or what, but I feel like I have a reason to keep on getting back up and chasing my dreams. Like a lot of times my dreams can seem childish, but I don't know. I feel like I've trusted it this far in my life, and maybe I'll be a late bloomer, but there's just something about it that I'm not going to stop. And I think that's what separates me, even though I have a family and I have, all these other things going on in my life, I still, I'm still working on that balance aspect, but I think that's my strength. And, for me, like to get better in the area that I lack in, I'm trying to study successful people. I watch a lot of videos and podcasts, and, I'm just trying to learn how to create those new habits. Like I said earlier in my life, like, and I want to start associating myself with more people like myself who have different ideas and different advice and tips to help me grow. And that's another reason why I created, this group, was just because I feel like we can all grow so much from associating ourselves together.
Yeah, that's great, man. I think that's an awesome way to do it, man. Network is definitely where it's at. And one of the things I'm studying with some leadership guys is, what are your strengths? And then I really like a couple thoughts is what you feel like you're strong in, lean into it. And what you're weak in, don't spend all this money, time, effort and focusing on areas that you suck at. Like it's so much time, effort, and energy.
Yeah.
For what? Just so you can eventually be competent in something that you're not good at naturally. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Now you do have to, like you said, finances. We all have to learn how to do finances. I'm pretty good at that, right? Mm-hmm. There needs to be some level of competency for some areas.
Yeah.
Lean into your strengths and forget about what you're not good at. That's you can lean on other people who's at their strength. Something I'm very good at is networking. Chris, I can tell good at networking.
Yeah.
When you get to know more people, lean on them for that networking component, lean on them for that support. Because like you said, I feel like I don't have that right now. That's something that can grow. And really the easiest way on just the networking part is, and I know you have it, man, is just care about other people. That's what we're, I just care about other people in the community and outside the community.
Yeah.
I've gotten some great connections about that, and just lean into that, what could we do better today? I'm currently lacking. I just kind of talked about getting started. So
yeah,
I know what the method is. That's really one of the things I'd love to hear more about you guys. What's effective and good for you. My other thing is when I'm active, I pay the piper. In LAU, have paid too much piperage right now going on with you. But that's my big fear. What dismotivate? What's the word? Unmotivates is a word.
is what I would
Is
say.
it
But
unmotivated?
I'm from Kansas. I'm from Missouri. I'm not that smart. So
From Missouri. So
Missouri.
what prohibits, that's the word, what prohibits me from being super active is that paying the piper, man. It's, and I see you struggling with it, and like it drives me crazy because
Yeah.
I don't want to go through that because I know what that looks like. I've been there, man. And
Yeah.
it's hard to volunteer for that. So talking with you and Chris about what works for you guys, how to start slow, how to start small. That's what everyone says who's successful. Like I saw you the first day and I was like, holy crap, this guy is insane. Like he's an insane person. And then I'm getting to know you and you're anything but. You're level-headed, you're realistic. It's just, you have that tenacity, right? It's that tough. You just keep hitting it. And for me, it's figuring out how to do that in a safe way.
Yeah.
Helped with some of those conversations. So
yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, man. And that's a part of my journey too, is like, and I tell everyone, I'm bodybuilding. I'm trying to bodybuild and like compete on a different level. And that's not something that I would like recommend to everyone to do. But while on my journey, I have gained this knowledge base where I know that it can be done in a safe manner. Even though I'm pushing it to a new limit, I believe there's a safe manner. I believe that if more people in our community knew how to, utilize, the machines properly and knew the method.
There's no knowledge. There's no knowledge about that. And it's so intimidating. Randy, he's a little gentleman in the community. I probably shouldn't use his name. There's a little gentleman in the community. He's small. I'm big. He's small. Okay. And he brought me to his gym. And I was just and I didn't tell him this because it was really nice for him, and he's using it and he finds value. It's so intimidating for me to see these machines.
Yeah.
Like the Russian and Rocky IV that they can break me. It's hard for me to feel comfortable in that setting. So that would be a wonderful thing to focus on, talk through, exposure, get the knowledge. Because I see these crazy butterfly machines and everything, and I'm like, that's gonna hurt me bad if I try this. I don't even know where to start. So.
Yeah. Yep. I hear you, man. Believe me, I'm about 5 years into serious like studying, the game, the sport, the nutrition side, everything about it. And I'm learning so much, man. And I've got a damaged left elbow, damaged right ankle. And I've learned some ways that you can get around, exercises where you can get around it, and like accomplish your goal without doing the major lifts that everyone else does and makes you feel
Yeah, I had my head. I've been seeing you and Chris like just crushing these 50-pound dumbbells, and then I'm talking to Chris. He's like, "You don't do that. That's crazy. Don't do that." So I'm like, "Oh, it's smart about it."
Yeah, I don't even do like when I go work out with LA. I don't do what LA does. Like he's over here in the man's. He's down here lifting this much weight, and then I'm like lifting this much weight. But
so we need a T-shirt that says "Do not do what LA does." Like that's
Don't
a slogan.
start where LA is now.
Hey, man, just takes time, stepping stones. But all right, let's go to the next slide, guys. I know there's a time limit for most people. I'll try to hurry through. So have a winning environment. It's something that I was thinking about when, you're trying to get motivated and you're trying to start going after your goals again. So, you guys a lot of you guys have probably heard of Jim Rohn, and he says you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So I was kind of curious, like who are the 5 people that you guys spend your most time with, and do you believe that? Do you think that you are the average of those 5 people?
That's a big concept, man. I get it. I would agree. We're talking about, influence and spheres of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're the sum of the parts of your circle. That's what I've always told everybody. If you want change, start there.
Yeah.
So it's just Jim's he's putting it in a different perspective,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those things where, go ahead.
I went through a little household cleaning when I was, I don't know, like in my mid-20s, because the guys that I was hanging out with then were, the weekend group, the ones that wanted to, they lived for the weekend. They went to work Monday through Friday for the weekend, and come Monday they didn't have anything to show for it. And that was my group.
Rinse and repeat.
Yeah, rinse and repeat. And they were content with that life, and they're still content with that life. And that's fine. That's what they're built for. I didn't want to be built for that. I wanted to be built for something else. So when I went through that and, kind of shrunk my circle and spent more time focusing on what I needed to be, that's when my circle started to expand a little bit, and I got to hang out with guys like Feria and LA and, Tom, Tom's one of my best friends. He's my business partner.
Yeah.
So my circle's definitely picked up.
Yeah, man, that's something that I would love to expand on myself, because my circle circle is extremely small right now. I mean, I've got Chris, which doesn't say much, and then I've got
doesn't get you very far.
Average down.
No, but I've got my girlfriend. I feel like it's mostly just like my girlfriend, my kids, and then Chris, and then I have a couple of workout buddies. But that's it, and so I would like to expand that for sure. So that's definitely something that I want to work on.
Listen, you helped me with this stupid starting thing, and I mean that's what that's what I do. I'm good at that. So I think that part of it is roping in people like me and people like Chris and just building from there. Yeah, it's gonna happen, man. Like I don't know who's gonna look at you and not be like, this dude's awesome. Let's hang out.
Appreciate that. All right, and then another tip is to have a clean station to work in, man. I know that when I'm depressed and I'm in a rut and stuff, and I just feel unmotivated, if my working area is a mess, then I just don't really want to work. So a lot of times, it's just something simple like that. Cleaning your area. I wish there was more people on right now, because I know more people would relate to this. But because I don't know your guys' experience level with depression and hemophilia, but man, I've hit rock bottom so many times in my life. Sometimes the most simplest thing I could ever do is just to shave or brush my teeth or to put my shoes on.
Yeah.
Put on a nice pair of clothes or something. Literally the most simple things like that can kind of help motivate you, just things that you don't want to do when you're depressed and sad and not feeling like doing anything for yourself.
Yeah.
And then, just having a great support group, so using social media like we're doing now, find a local mentor or get involved in the community, local chapters and community events. I'm hoping that, I'm going to post this recording on YouTube and stuff, and I have a Hemo Life YouTube page. And so I'm really hoping that, our conversation that we're all having together will reach other people and resonate with others, who can really benefit from this knowledge.
Yeah. And I think it's, any level, I'm obviously at what I'd like to call a non-start position. You got somebody at LA who's been doing it for years and rocking it out. So, whatever be comfortable with where you're at, just understanding this is where I'm at, and then where to go from there. And even though I'm at the non-start, I just like to mention the fact that, like everybody on this call, I also am not wearing sleeves. So I think that's a great thing.
It's like the sleeveless call. It's great.
Nice, yeah.
It's the first thing that jumped out at me, and I'm like, something here doesn't belong.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You and I fit right in, John. We're both beginning. So, I think it's good, man. And I would just like to, say I've always, when I started out going to the gym, man, I sought out motivation. I had to find something to get me motivated. And, and once I started putting it on a power list and just trying to create good habits. So, my power list consists of 3 to 5 things that I need to do the next day. And you either win the day, you do all 3 to 5, or you lose the day because you didn't do one of them. And, focusing on what kind of habits that I wanted to create, I think that's definitely helped. To where, when I go to the gym now, I don't need to seek out motivation. I don't want to go, but I know it's one of those things that I need to do.
Yeah, Tony Robbins says, to turn your shoulds into musts. And I think that whenever you can do that, that's it's powerful. I remember that used to be in my mind all the time. And every single time that I had to go to the gym, I would immediately think of a reason why I shouldn't go or why I can't go. Oh, well, I didn't eat, or, my girlfriend's gonna be mad, or I gotta let my dog out, whatever. Like, any reason would pop up. So I had to change my mindset to where that wasn't the process anymore. The first thing that popped up wasn't an excuse. It was a reason why I should go or why I have to go. And then eventually it just became a mindset. I never thought about it again. It was just not, am I going to go to the gym? It was, when am I going to the gym? And now it's just second nature. But it definitely took a lot of work.
That's great. Yeah, I think habit, that's exactly it. And I like the powerless thing, Chris, Like I've gotten out of the mode of doing that. I never called it a powerless, by the way. I don't know where you got that, but I like it, So it's getting back into that, I think will help. And then could do it every day to a must. I think it's a total reframe, Yeah. And, you guys are talking about going to the gym or some dedicated time. It's anything, for me, it was doing the daily walk. I was doing 40, 50 minutes of walking a day for a while. And then I got laid off, had some life challenges, and I've stopped, right? It's whatever the thing is that that needs to be on your power list, you need to do, and it needs to be a must.
Yeah.
It's doing it, whatever it is.
Yep. All right, guys, I'll go to the next slide. So this next slide is it's going to be a challenge for you guys. It's something that I want you guys to look through this list, and this is about morning routines. I'm not sure if you guys already have a morning routine and if you already do certain things that you're going to stick with, but I would like for you to pick out 2 things that you could benefit from on this list. And this list was compiled. It's a list compiled of habits from Tony Robbins, Oprah, Steve Jobs, Barack Obama, and Tim Ferriss. These are a list of the things that they do. This is a list of things that they do when they get up in the morning to make sure every single day to make sure that they have a successful day. So
that's crazy.
Cold plunge shower. Just turn on cold water, freezing cold, jump in, and let it ride. Take 5 minutes and meditate on 3 things that you are grateful for. Close your eyes and meditate on 3 things you would like to accomplish for the day and how you could do it. So that's very similar to what Chris just said about the power list. Write down 3 things, or think about 3 things that you want to accomplish that day and how that's going to happen. Fasted cardio, 20 to 30 minutes. Make your bed. Prepare a healthy breakfast. Oh, that's Oprah's. Wake up at 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. to read or exercise. I think this next one was Steve Jobs. Look at yourself in the mirror when you wake up and ask yourself, if today was the last day of my life, would I be happy with what I'm about to do today? So I think it's kind of a cool challenge, to pick 2 of these and start implementing them into your daily life. I mean, if these people use them, I think we could all definitely benefit from implementing some of these into our lifestyle. So for me, I think that I'm going to do, take 5 minutes for 3 things that I'm grateful for each morning. And then I'm going to do the fasted cardio as well. I actually just started that today. So
it can't be something you're doing now, right? It's got to be a new thing.
Well, I mean, it's up to you. I mean, up to you. I mean, the point is to try to get a commitment.
I was going to do it, John.
Yeah.
I already do the cold plunge shower.
Right. I do all 8 of these things every day. This is all.
This is your list.
I'm like rocking it. Yeah.
Yeah, the fasted cardio would have to be on there. God, I hate cardio though.
What's the benefit of? So I assume that's a thing because there's a lot of benefit to doing it. What's the benefit of doing that early versus during the day versus at a different time?
Well, the fasted cardio is, I mean, from what my understanding of it, it's like, you should be, usually you're depleted of like your glycogen and stuff. And so like when you get up first thing in the morning and you start burning off fat, all of the fat first, because instead of having a whole bunch of like carbs inside of your system, your body, like if you eat and then you work out, the thought process is you're just burning off that glycogen, those carbs But if you do it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, you're just gonna burn off the fat first.
See, I always thought it was you use what you've made. So I've never thought about. Well, I know people do it. I've never thought about doing it specifically for that reason. So that's great. Thanks for reviewing that.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, after doing it for, I usually do it towards the end of my competition preps and stuff, and you hate it. Like, it sucks so bad, and then you get there, and then when you're finished, the mental boost that it gives you is pretty amazing, and then you just feel like you can start your day off doing anything.
Start your day off with a win, man.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I always do the cold plunge shower. Now, I do it a little different.
I can't do that.
A warm shower, and then I turn it down, and then I count my – my 4 minutes or 6 minutes, however long I need to be in there.
6 minutes of cold shower? Jeez.
Yeah. But it's a little bit more it's a little bit more manageable. But the good thing is when I get out of the shower, my wife ends up laughing at me. So.
Doing those cold showers really helps you out a lot in the long run.
Really?
It wakes you up,
yeah.
makes you energized. Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, buddy? You just joined.
I'm doing great. I want to ask you guys a question regarding these cold showers. If you guys don't know who this guy his name is Wim Hof. I think he's from Sweden. He's a guy who can withstand sub-zero temperatures, wearing no clothes at all, not get frostbite, not get hypothermia, not die. And he teaches people how to do this with just his mind.
Wow.
His name is Wim Hof. Look him up. It blows your mind.
That's interesting. Never heard of
cold showers. Cold showers are great for your body and great for your mind.
Man, that is so hard. That would probably be the last one that I pick on the list. I cannot.
Do it. That's LA. That's the one that you have to pick on the list.
Now you have to. We're going to talk. That's the only topic the next time we talk is how.
Take a vote.
Well, this is going to be my challenge for everyone that's on our group page. Was to pick one, at least pick one of them, and take a pic. I want you guys to take a picture of it happening. I want to see you in the cold shower. No, I'm kidding.
Yes, love it.
Like, hold yourself. Like, let us hold each other accountable. Take on one of these. Take a picture of it. Posted it on our group page, and let's motivate each other to take action.
That is a great thing. I don't know how it works for anybody else. With me, I'm half introvert, half extrovert. I spend most of my time inside my head thinking, philosophizing a whole bunch, if that's the right word. But I never execute much, and that is a big problem. That's what holds me back the most. I need to be held accountable. I need to get out of my head and actually put what's in my head into work. Because if I don't do that, nothing will change ever.
Execution is so hard, Jay. I mean, I'm right there with you. Right there with you with that.
Yeah, I call it the folly of floating is what I call it. I tell everybody, don't float. Don't wait. Just make a decision and go. And everybody, you do that.
Yeah.
And it's talking about your mindset, LA, like you were talking about. Like, I just made up my mind because I saw myself doing that when I was in my teens.
Yeah.
Like, nope, I'm not doing that in my 20s. And I just gave it up. So I'm one of those, like, I see it being a bull. I make a decision, I never look back. And people are like, well, is that healthy? I'm like, no, I think about, was it a good outcome? Was it a bad outcome? But I never sit and cycle about why I made a decision about something. I just go, this is the learning, move on.
I think that's the problem now. It's like, we've grown up, we're growing up behind generations that have made decisions right or wrong. And, and it's produced great leaders. It's produced great villains out of it,
Right.
And it's instead of looking at, is it the perfect decision? I think that's what holds up a lot of, potential leaders at LA. I know you and I have had talks about this in depth. It's just doing it, it's just either one, asking for the business or just making the leap, making the plunge.
Yeah.
Perfect is the enemy of good, not bad. Perfect is. You have to think of it that way. Well,
awesome, guys. Thanks for your input on this slide. like I said, try some of these. I think we could all benefit from adding one of these to our lifestyles, and could help us.
All right, so I'm gonna pick the fasted cardio, man.
Fasted cardio.
I'm gonna pick the worst one on there.
I want you to take
I think that is the worst one.
I need you to do a Snapchat with the timestamp and the cardio machine.
Okay.
There we go.
Can
I walk? Are we cool with walking outside? I don't know what it's going to look like.
Yeah, dude, that's a good idea. I'm going to get up in the morning. I'm going to throw on the weighted vest on, and I'm going to take a walk. That's a good way to do it.
I already make a healthy breakfast every morning. I never make my bed.
You're doing the worst one on there. You're doing the plunge, because I already do it. You're doing that one with me.
The cold plunge?
Yep.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to take it on. I'm not going to be a baby. I'm leading this thing. I'm going to do it.
Just don't do the short breaths, man.
I'll do it tonight.
You'll crank that heat on. Deep breaths through it.
I'm gonna try it tomorrow morning. I'll put in the group chat how it goes. I'm gonna do it.
I don't want to see a naked shower photo though.
No.
I was gonna say, are we all gonna just text each other when we're naked in the shower?
Yeah.
Call went south real quick. I don't know what's happening.
Nice. Yeah.
Just use an emoji and cover up the appropriate spots. That's all you have to do.
Nice. That's awesome.
All right, guys. Next slide is getting momentum. A lot of times when you're in a rut and you need to get motivated, sometimes it's just all about getting a little bit of momentum, get the ball rolling, accomplish something small, and all of a sudden you can start seeing a bigger picture. So step one, create a goal. So if your goal is to lose 10 pounds, then there it is. That's your goal. But you're not going to lose 10 pounds in a week. So create baby goals and create milestones. So say, okay, week 1, I'm going to lose 2 pounds. And in order to lose 2 pounds, I'm going to do this, whatever that might be, write out that plan. And then say, once I accomplish that milestone, I'm going to then treat myself to some kind of reward, whether it be a cheat meal or, you go to the movies or some way that you reward yourself for reaching that milestone. And it doesn't have to be fitness, obviously. It could be anything in life. But I found that, actually writing down a plan, a goal that you have, and then making, baby steps along the way. So if you want to make $1 million, start your own business and make $1 million, well, guess what? Your first goal should be make $100 in business. Your next goal should be make $1,000 in business. Then make $10,000 in business. Don't just say, here's my plan to go from 0 to $1 million, because that's not going to happen. So I think you definitely
not realistic. Yeah.
Yeah. So create those baby milestones, baby goals, and get the ball rolling. And the thing is once you get that thing rolling, then your mind starts expanding, new doors start opening up, and then like I said, it just gets the vision gets more clear. So that's something that I found, when I get into a rut. And some tips along the way is, like what Chris was saying too, write down 3 things you can do each day to get one step closer to your goal. Find somebody accountable to hold you accountable. So like us right now, like what we were talking about, let's hold each other accountable. You can hire a coach, which I've done recently for fitness. And I have to send him pictures every Friday. I send him my weight every Monday and Friday. And so, I know for the most part, I could lose weight on my own. But the fact that I put my money where my mouth was by hiring this coach, and that I have to send him pictures, it makes me more accountable, knowing in the back of my mind, hey, he's a professional bodybuilder. He's a pro. He's already been there. He knows what it takes. And I need to show him that I'm willing to reach these milestones, and I don't want to let him down. I don't want to let myself down. I don't want to let him down. So that's something that you could do. You could use your friend, a spouse, mentor, and stay inspired, man. Instagram's awesome for that. Follow people who are on the same journey as yourself, people who have already accomplished the things that you want to accomplish. Reach out to those people. Figure out, study their lifestyle, figure out what they do on a daily basis that help them reach their goal. We talked about turning your shoulds into a must, and commit publicly, guys. Like, honestly, this is kind of a crazy thing now with social media. And, a lot of people are against social media, But man, there's some power to it. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. So as much as anyone could it is our future, and it is what we all have our own
what it is.
brand, our own journey. And a lot of times, if you commit publicly to something, that holds you accountable as well to reaching your goals.
Very true.
And share the journey. There's power in sharing your journey. A lot of times that you think that maybe it's not relevant or not purposeful. But I remember when I started 5 years ago, I was on Instagram. Hemophilia, saying you had hemophilia was not a thing on Instagram. No one said that. No one put, hey, I'm LA and I got hemophilia. No, heck no. That during that time frame, most of us were kind of in the closet, being like, hey, heck no, I'm just going to live my life and I'm not telling a single soul. And it was the weirdest thing for me ever when I went on there. And it was after my hepatitis C treatment. I was like, you know what? I'm going to change myself and I'm going to start in the gym. I went in the gym and I remember taking my first picture and I posted it with my shirt off. And it was back in those days, it was really, really weird to post with your shirt off. And so I was getting judged hardcore. But I did it. I posted my journey. I did it for a year. No one cared at all. Not a single soul. It wasn't until year 2, all of a sudden, I started getting messages from people being like, holy cow, like you have hemophilia and you're doing this. And they started seeing my results. And then I started getting messages about how I was inspiring them, how I made them want to change their profile just to say that they had hemophilia in general. And so once I started getting that was like confirmation for me that I was on the right path and that I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. And I realized the power in my journey. And I think that we could all do that in some way or the other if we're open and willing to share. But what do you guys think? Is there what are your guys' goals right now? Is there a goal is there like a kind of like I don't know, what goals do you guys have? Is there a short-term goal, long-term goals that any of you guys have? Anybody want to share their goals?
So I think Chris Mill should talk because he's been too quiet. But for me, I did this exact same thing, LA, and my goals were not fitness oriented though, but they all happened in the long run. That you make it happen, and this is the exact method that I used. Mine were more career oriented. But yeah, this is exactly it. It's one step at a time, getting the momentum, and then at the end, you're like, wow, I did it. And that's the story I share. It's exactly like you, LA. I don't think anybody cared, but I share it and I say, listen, just because you're a bleeder, you feel like you have a disadvantage for whatever reason, you can be a successful career guy too, And it took me 10 years. My goal was always to be a computer engineer, and it took me 10 years to get there. But I became a middle manager at a $3 billion technology firm. It can happen. So whatever you want to do, just make it one step at a time.
That's amazing, man. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I do talk actually, but one reason why I was actually quiet was I was in the middle of making some hot sauce at the moment. So, yeah, I mean, the other reason that I was quiet is this is actually one of the topics that I requested, and so I'm kind of taking it all in, taking a little bit of notes. But yeah, I mean, I think going back on everything that we were just talking about and kind of summarizing everything, yeah, I mean, I went down the same path as a lot of people did, saying I kind of want to be a professional athlete too. I wanted to play basketball, and I got pretty far in it, but again, it all catches up to you.
Yeah.
So there's other goals that are out there. Still, like, I want to own my own business. Whatever that may be. I'm not even sure what that is, but it could be something involved with maybe the lawnmower thing and doing that, or it could be something simple like that, or it could be like being a professional hunting guide. I don't know what it would be, but I think that one of the things that kind of holds me back on that is just I don't think it's not being scared. It's just being too logical, almost saying, that's a risk. Don't take that risk. Do something that makes sense. It's like the same reason I went to college. I originally wanted to go for auto mechanic. Mm-hmm. And you know what, I don't know if I can really make that much money in that. I don't know if I'll be able to stand that whole time because of my ankles. So I think accounting might be something you should go for, you know, and, you know, kind of everybody telling you that kind of stuff. So, you know, that's where I'm headed, where I want to be headed, and that's what's holding me back. So.
Yep. And, you know, I had a guy tell me, he was an entrepreneur. He owned restaurants in Omaha, Nebraska. He told me, he goes, I was complaining, you know, this is back when I was in hospitality, man. And he goes, I told him, I was complaining, you know, poor, pitiful me. And that I feel like I've been in a rut for 3 years. And he goes, he's shared two things with me. He said, you know what it means when a man's in the back seat and he's driving? And I said, no. He said, it means he's unemployed. So now my wife never has to drive. But the other thing he told me when I complained about being in a rut is he said, I was whining, poor for me. I'm getting passed up for promotions. And I said, I'm just in this rut. And he goes, you know the difference between a rut and a grave? And I said, no, what's that? And he said, the size of the hole. And that kind of stuck with me. You know, if I feel like I'm in a rut, you know, then obviously I'm not growing. And LA, you can attest to this too, because I know you get in ruts just like everybody else. But I've seen yours firsthand because you post about them. That, you know, the ruts, you know, you're not growing anymore. You're stagnant. And I took that to heart, and I think that's kind of what helped me kind of kick off changing my mentality. So I'm done. You can elaborate.
Yeah, man. Thanks for sharing. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think we all kind of got the gist of this slide right here. Like I said, it's create short-term goals and just get the ball rolling. Just figure out a way to get some momentum going. So this next slide is our bonus slide, because we already did 3 tips. It's called the success cycle, and this is something that I gave a presentation on, and I forgot where I was, but it was in the hemophilia community. And this is something that I've been using in my life that I just really enjoy. And so I'll kind of explain it to you guys a little bit. It starts over here where it says potential. All right, so a lot of us already have potential. We all have a starting point, okay? So like for me, it was going into the gym 5 years ago. I had some kind of potential, whether it was a little or a lot, it was there. And me 5 years ago, I decided, hey, I'm going to go to the gym. I took an action. So that was my action, going to the gym. Okay. Well, I didn't really know what I was doing in the gym. So I got results, and those results were not that good. During that first initial time, I was getting bleeds and it just wasn't going well. So my belief system never really grew because of the results stage. I never got past the results stage. So what I had to do is I had to go back to the action stage, and I had to take a different action. And that action for me was to educate myself, to learn more about nutrition, supplementation, exercises, and, you know, being more compliant to my hemophilia regimen. And once I kind of put all those together and I took a bigger action, I got a better result. And after I got that better result, I created a new belief in myself. And that new belief gave me more potential. Okay. So now I'm back to stage 1 again, except I have more potential this time around. Right. And then I take that potential and I take an even bigger action the next time, and I get even bigger results. And then it's just the cycle goes on and on and on. And what I realize is it's an amazing cycle. If you can just focus on this, like it's like all of a sudden you're going through the cycle, and then your belief system grows to a certain level where you're starting to accomplish things that you never thought possible. You could have never imagined ever happening. Like, it's like, for crying out loud, if I stay on this path in 10 years, I might think that I could be the president of the United States. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that now, but shit, if I keep on following this plan, then who knows where my belief system will be. And so it's just all about, you know, taking bigger actions and just continuing this. What do you guys think about this?
I want to focus on one key point that I think is really important. It was compliance to what you need to be successful. And for us in the bleeder world, you know, it's being compliant to whatever your treatment plan or action plan is to treat, right? Mm-hmm. I would never be where I'm at. I wouldn't have even had the opportunity to be here today if I didn't at some point decide I'm going to be an adult about this. And I'm going to do the right things to take care of this one issue, right?
Yeah.
Did I do it for everything? No. I'm a 350-pound man. Obviously, something went by the wayside, you know? But at least on the hemophilia front, being compliant allowed me to pursue my other goals. And not just being compliant, but being thoughtful, being mindful, being, you know, pursuing managing hemophilia like any other goal, you know? Yeah. But also focusing on your limitations. You mentioned your joint limitations. Yeah. I was in the dark to myself for a long time until about 2016 when I got some work done on my joints. I was in the dark the whole time. So it's also accepting, hey, this is where I'm at, but that doesn't mean you can't change your belief. You know, I'm so much more confident now, having been compliant with the things I needed to do to fix those issues. So that's what I wanted just to call out specifically.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. Anybody else have any thoughts on this graph, or do you think that this would be helpful, or did you find this helpful at all to you guys? And also, just to let you guys know, we got tank testosterone on as well. There's somebody else too. I'm not sure who it is, but maybe it's him. I've been following him on Instagram. He's got a pretty cool journey.
The 503 is Jay, I think.
Okay, but yeah, tank testosterone is a hemophiliac, and he's on a pretty cool fitness journey. So follow him if you don't. But yeah, like I said, I came across this, and I've been using it in my life, and I've enjoyed it. So if you guys, I'm gonna put this recording online. So if you guys want to reference it again, you can feel free to do that anytime.
Yeah, do I have your permission to share it out? Because I was thinking of at least getting it out there. I think fitness is kind of what's the opposite of faux pas? Taboo. Fitness in the hemophilia community, it's like a taboo. Like I try and get answers around stuff, and it's never genuine. So I think you got to add more visibility to, hey, no, you can do more. What the more looks like is up to you, but you can do more. And I'm super excited to share that message. I really am. So
appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to share it, and I hope we can grow the group and just create some more knowledge for everyone. Last slide, guys. I put double bonus here. This is something that's really cool that I've done in my life. I did it about 3 years ago, and I don't know. It's just, to me, it's a really cool thing. At one point I had it on my wall. I don't right now, but it's called a destiny statement. And basically you use, 5 to 8 words. You want to use as few words as possible to describe what you want your legacy to be in life. This is something, this is going to be like a statement that is almost like a compass. So any major decision that you're going to make in your life, I want you to ask yourself, if I make this choice, will this get me one step closer to reaching my destiny? So for me, back when I spent some time, it took me about 30 minutes, and I put use adversity to change lives. So during that time frame when I created this, and it's still true. I mean, you can change it as you go on, but I've stuck to this, and I've used this as my guiding compass when I get lost in life, when life takes me on these different paths, and I don't know where I'm going. I kind of reference this again and say, well, this is my compass. Am I currently in a stage, to use my adversity that I've gone through to change other people's lives? And if the answer is no, then I need to figure out what I need to do to get back onto that right path. Because it's like I said, with kids and life and craziness, we can go everywhere. But I think it's kind of cool to sometimes think about your destiny statement and what you want to leave behind. So I would definitely recommend you guys thinking of something, that, like I said, it's hard to come up with something right away. It definitely took me a lot of time to think about, so I don't expect you guys to come up with an answer right now, but this could be definitely beneficial to you.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah.
I'm just stealing yours, LA.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I was going through so much, man, with the Hep C treatment and just feeling like my life was over, man. I was crying every day when they told me I had to go through a Hep C treatment. I just thought my life was over. I thought my liver was going to be done, and I was probably going to die in 10 years. And it was bad, man. So I was just like, the only thing that got me going was to think about what I could accomplish with the adversity. Why was this adversity placed in my life in the first place? And the only thing that got me going again was to think that maybe I could help someone else. And that was the only thing that could make me happy. It was no longer about me. And if I could live my life that way the rest of my life, then what I went through was meaningful.
Yeah, we want to thank you, man, for making that focus. With I feel that passion still till today. So I think it's great that you I went through some similar thoughts. I did not write them down eloquently, so that's where I screwed up. But yeah, again,
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Well, that's it, guys. That's it for the our motivation topic. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll have another topic in about 3 weeks to a month, and you guys can just take some time, think about what you want to talk about, and we can go from there. And I don't have to be the only person who leads the discussions. I mean, I would love if somebody else has an area of expertise that they want to share with the group. That'd be awesome as well. And if you go to Hemo Life on YouTube, I posted the first session, which was all about calculating your macros to reach your goals, whether you wanted to cut fat or gain lean muscle. That entire video will teach you how to set up your numbers properly so you can start tracking what you eat to reach your goals. This one was all about motivation. So the next one, it's up to you guys. And that's it, man. That's it. Hope you guys appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate the time.
Can I ask a quick question before we all get off here? I know I jumped in late, and I don't know if this was discussed already. Does anybody do intermittent fasting at all?
I did for a little bit.
Huh?
I did for a little bit, but then I got hungry, so it didn't really.
I have been doing intermittent fasting this past month or two, and I've lost, I don't know, 15 pounds, maybe 3 pant sizes. It's been amazing.
Yeah, so I've done intermittent fasting before. I wanted to see what everyone else said first, but I've definitely used it before. And I mean, no matter what diet you're using, it ultimately comes down to calories in versus calories out. It doesn't matter if it's keto, whatever you're doing. That's it. What are you eating? What's going out? Are you doing cardio? Stuff like that. Intermittent fasting helps because you're only eating into a certain time window. So whether it's a 6-7 hour time frame, and so therefore, because you don't have that long of a time frame to eat, you're typically not eating as many calories as you would throughout a normal day. And then also, they say that it also kind of helps with, it's kind of like the same thing as fasted cardio essentially as well. Like how it could, if you're not eating in the morning, you can be burning fat during that time frame. So I don't know all the science behind it, but I've done it. I've tried it. And I definitely think it could be beneficial for whatever your lifestyle is. I think it's a good lifestyle diet. If you're not at home and you're not available to cook all your meals and eat them at the certain
That's how my life is. Yeah, I'm always at work, working my butt off, sweating all day, working. And honestly, I don't eat that much. I barely even graze. And when I get home, I gorge. It's midnight, 1, 2 in the morning. And I gorge, and I honestly think I eat more than I should, but I still see myself shredding the pounds.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And
man.
I'm not eating healthy. I'm not eating healthy. It's, and I'm not going to lie, it's fast food still. It's quick. It's easy. It's pizza because that's where I work. I run 2 pizza joints, and so that's kind of my meal every single day. And I'm not gaining any more weight from it. I'm still shredding off the pounds.
Absolutely.
It's weird.
You could eat. If I made my diet tomorrow that I was going to eat a Pop-Tart for every meal, I would lose weight all day long. all day long. But, you know, there's other things that, you know, you got to think about as well. You know, when it comes to, it depends on what your goal is, you know. I mean, if you're just trying to lose fat right away, then yeah, sure, go ahead. But, you know, you definitely want to try to get in your macronutrients, your vitamins and minerals, stuff like that.
That's what I do myself too, yeah. Double dose on vitamin C, double dose on vitamin B6 and B12 to keep my metabolism super, super high.
Yeah.
I even take a pre-conception vitamin too, because my wife and I are trying to have another kid, and I'm thinking I'm doing all of these things that are bad for my diet. You know, fried, greasy food, but with this intermittent fasting and this Friday food, I'm still seeing the pounds.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. And, you know, based off of my experience and like all the different diets I've tried, the best diet that you can go on is a sustainable diet. You know, there's been so many diets that I've gone on where I've lost a lot of weight and fast, but then mentally you can't handle it, you know, for a sustainable long amount of time, and then all of a sudden you start developing a bad relationship with food, and you can start, you know, binge eating and stuff like that. And that's what happened to me a lot on my journey, was that I wasn't able to sustain the look that I created.
Right. Yep. For me, the fasting is, I travel a lot for business, right? I'm in a different city and a lot of my food's paid for. You know, obviously I have limits, but basically I can eat whatever. So I think it's a great strategy for me to think about this fasting thing to try and manage what does life on the road look like, because it's tough to, especially with clients and being busy on the road and running to an airport and running back, you know. So it's a great topic. So I appreciate you guys bringing it up.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, if you guys have any other fitness questions before we head off, let me know.
I think I'm good. Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
I thought it was a great meeting. Thanks, LA.
Yeah,
we'll do it again.
No problem. Like I said, I'll go ahead and upload this meeting, and we can share it with everyone else, and hopefully people can benefit from it. So thanks for joining.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
All right, guys. See ya.
See you guys.